All right, in this video, I'll share with you 20 key strategies I used with my client to help him achieve the job of his dreams. In fact, what inspired me to make this video was yesterday, my client called me and he told me he finally got the job. We passed the fourth and final interview, and voila, he got the job of his dreams. This was not an easy journey, it was 3 years. So, I after sharing the good news, I thought, okay, why not share some of these points with you guys? Obviously, I can't share specifics about him because he has just got the job. He would definitely feel very uncomfortable if I mention anything specific. So, keeping him confidential, I'm going to share with you what I actually did with him, and what helped him achieve this. So feel free to put down your questions and comments, and if you have anything to add in terms of value, please. It always helps other people read it. So let's start. The first and most important thing which I had to work with him was his mindset. He had this typical mindset. He's an Indian who is based in Dubai. He had the typical mindset, you cannot get a job without vasta, means contacts, connections. There's politics. Oh, they'll always choose Gora over me. They'll choose Emirati, or they'll choose, girl with, big boobies and this and that. So, I listened to him and I told him, see, boss, listen, if you want to climb up, you first need to change this mindset and attitude, because unless you change it, you are not going to move, because people can sense. Okay, so first thing, change this and believe that there is an opportunity for you out there which you can get what is meant for you if you work hard. So we had to work on his mindset, his negativity, his bias, his negative outlook towards individuals. Okay, and that leads me to the second point, which was I told him, whatever it is, racism or favoritism or sexism or whatever, from today onwards, I want you to take personal responsibility for every bad thing that happens. You might be like, does it make sense? It's very simple logic. If good things happen, let's say you manage to get a promotion, you get a salary increment, you'll always like to take credit. I worked hard, I believed in my dream, I focused. Yeah. So when bad things happen, also I tell people, take responsibility for it, even if you're not directly at fault. Let's say in his case, his boss and him always clashed. So I told him, don't blame your boss, blame yourself. You were not able to make your boss like you. If let's say market conditions was bad, or he didn't achieve the salary, the target, I told him, once again, you take responsibility for it. Say that you should have come up with better ideas. You should have come up with a better solution. So the second one was very, very tough, because if the boss is an asshole and you're a nice guy, you taking responsibility doesn't help. But in his case, it helped because he tried to make an effort to be better. Yes, his boss did not fall in love with him, but his attitude changed and other people noticed it. Okay. Third one was, wait, let me check my notes. Yeah. The third one, which was very important, is he came to me at a point where, this is 3 years ago. Okay. He came to me at a point where he had decided and made up his mind he wants to resign from the company because things were not working out with his boss. He didn't get the salary that he was promised. So he was in a very dark place. He was depressed and all that. So I made him understand. It took some time to convince him on this. I made him understand that, listen, if you have a job and then you apply for another job, you have leverage. And if you apply for another job and you have a existing job, it shows that, wow, this guy, he doesn't need our company to give him a job. So let's offer him something really good or worthwhile. Others, he will not join. Because if you are without a job, every HR, every CEO, every owner of the company knows you need the job more than they need to get you. You're not the greatest thing since sliced bread. They have been sustaining and surviving and running a business without you. They will continue. So I told him, do not resign until you get another job. And he went through the grind. He literally, he suffered a lot. There were times where he even broke down and told me, "This my boss is making my life miserable," and so I had to convince it. So never ever resign from your job until you get written in writing an actual job contract. Don't go verbally. Okay. Then came his resume, the next part of his strategy, next part of my strategy for him. I'll just quickly run through the 5 points which are here. The first one is he used a resume that was internet based. He used resume that were those days they wouldn't call it AI and all that, but they were various softwares. He also went to a couple of professionals, Western companies that charge a lot of money. I told him, boss, listen, these jargons and these hi-fi words and all that, they don't match your personality. We need to bring your personality to this resume. Okay, so let's customize this resume to match you, but in a way that attracts the market. So that took a little bit of work because he was not used to making a resume that sounded very communicative, like conversational. He always put all these bombastic words and typical corporate jargon. I told him, listen, position yourself in a way that someone will notice you. So resume matched his personality. The next point was, um, you tend to have an image online, right? You tend to have a LinkedIn profile, you tend to have a Facebook profile, you tend to have an Instagram profile. But if you actually notice, all three are different. On LinkedIn, you will try to appear corporatish. On Facebook, you'll appear, you put your hair down. On Instagram, maybe you'll take photographs of your Starbucks and whatever. That's what, boss, people nowadays, especially multinational companies, they will check all your social media. So if you are on, let's say, Facebook and you're wearing, your typical traditional clothes and you're putting your hair down and you're sitting with your relatives and it's a very unprofessional photograph, say people will start forming opinions about you. So either you don't have any social media, or if you choose to have social media, it must be professional. I made him understand that. It took a little bit of convincing. Finally, he did listen to me, and we had to, remove most of his other social media and bring it down to just the bare bones, which was we created a new one, and all of them had more or less the same photograph, same brand image, same brand essence, same brand communication. Okay. Number four was no, number three. Yeah, his photographs. Okay, his photographs were done professionally. Um, even if it was a casual photograph, I told him make sure take. There are some people who really, if you see the social media people, they make sure they take 20, 30 photographs and they choose the best one. I said, you need to put a little bit of effort. Don't just put you standing with five guys, hey, like this, and that's all bullshit. I told him, make every photograph count, that add to your overall profile. Okay. Or just disable your account that nobody can share, or keep it in an invisible mode. Because remember, multinational company, HR always scans. Okay. And especially if it's a government organization. Number four is we worked on content from articles that were written online to the way he described himself. I told you, the resume has to match your personality. It also has to reflect on all social media platforms. You cannot be very professional on your resume and, very thrashy, loose, like loose charactered individual on your Facebook. Like you can't have silly, stupid, unwanted posts, especially those which are controversial. So that is why, we kept his actual Facebook profile disabled. Reason being, he had a lot of controversial posts about politics, and sometimes some of his posts and comments are very crass. So I told him this will backfire. And last but not the least, we created resumes, multiple resumes, which reflected what the market wanted. Yes, it has to match your personality, but if you don't give the market what it wants, it's not going to employ you. Moving to the next one, there is where the interview preparation. Interview preparation, I told him same thing. The resume matches your personality. The interview also has to match your personality. Don't try to put on "Morning, sir. How are you?" It's a great day, and my strengths and weaknesses. I believe in. Don't stop all that bullshit. Okay, listen. Um, Resume matches you. Interview also has to match you, because after the interview, once you get the job, you're not going to, "Morning, sir. How are you? Do we have a vision for the future?" Uh, you don't use that kind of language here. I told him, listen, remember, after the interview, people are going to look at you and evaluate you. And if they find you as a fake, HR will feel, this guy tried to con us. Don't do that. Don't put on an image which you can't maintain. And there are some people, which I've told you before, oversell themselves. So I will achieve this 200% growth and 6% market penetration and expansion and 14% cost reduction. I said, if you don't do the same in this company, then the guy will feel, oh, he took me for a ride. Better throw him out. I said, don't do that. They'll make your life miserable. So made sure that the resume were toned down, not overly selling himself, and no corporate bullshit jargon. Okay, it was professional, but not suffocatingly like you. Like, what are you trying to say? At the interview, the next point is I told him the do's and don'ts, what to say, not to say, and um, even even the way you answer, like let's say, for example, the standard questions. In his case, they didn't ask him this, but if they ask you, tell me something about yourself, what are your strengths, what are your weakness, uh, you, you know don't, or why should I give you this job, don't give the classic uh, bullshit TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn canned answers. I said it has to reflect the human being that is inside. He has to feel he's talking to a human being. He has to feel that you're speaking from the heart. So I taught him that. It took a little bit of work over here because he was not comfortable showing his real side. He always believed you have to be prim, proper, and professional. Number three was the delivery. Not many people focus on improving on their delivery. They are overly confident that they can talk. Yes, anyone can talk. Can you express in a way that impresses people? Okay, that is an art which has to be learned. And final thing about the interview bit was, people generally ask, okay, should I ask the employer any questions? So every interview that he went for, I gave him a separate set of questions that he could ask, which kind of positioned him differently. There were jobs where he gave a great interview, he asked the right questions, and they told him, I'm sorry, but we chose another candidate, but you did fairly well at the interview. It's just that the other candidate was better. So we worked on honing these skills, especially, remember, towards the end, the question you ask, the statements that you make, and the close that you give will either position you as the most memorable or you'll be forgotten. Remember, the beginning and the end is what they remember always. Um, the next one is, see, first was the mindset and the internal changes, resume, interview. Then came the personal brand. There were just five questions that I constantly hammered in his head. Number one is what makes you stand out. And don't give the basic bullshit. Oh, I take my work too seriously and I will make sure I achieve result. I said, boss, listen, this is boring, outdated. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry says that. What makes you stand out? You better give me something that nobody else has said. It can be something silly. It can be something like, oh my goodness, did he actually say that? I said, let's work on positioning yourself unique, because the guy can see you, and you might think you're smart. You can't fool anyone, and especially if everyone gives the same bullshit answer. I will work hard, I'll show you my results. I mean, you become numb to it. So what makes you stand out? Number two is, in personal brand, I had to keep questioning, what are your core beliefs and values? Because if you're not clear about this, you'll join a company and then you feel out of place. You must have heard, no? Many people said, I I feel like an alien. I don't mix with my colleagues. I don't like my boss. The culture of the company is toxic. Yeah, because you are not clear about your core beliefs and your values, so you're not able to judge that company, and you joined just for the sake of a salary. It'll not work long term. It'll fail. So you must be very clear about your core beliefs and values, and if someone asks you what they are, you should be able to give it, you know, unconsciously. Okay. Number three is, um, he always used to tell me what he doesn't want. I had to flip the switch and ask him, so what do you want? And whenever he would give me a vague answer, I would keep pressurizing him till he gave me specific, like, what is your salary? He would say, I want, for example, I want $15,000. Why? Yeah, because of the market. But why? Then you would go, I have expenses. But why? Oh, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have this thing. Okay, but why? He would keep going on all the various this thing until I forced him to come up with actually why the hell do you actually want a salary, man? Why? And he would come to a point where he would be pissed off and finally he'd give me the reason. And I say, see, that is what we need to do. So you need to be very explicit about what you want, and you should be clear about why you want it, and it should make perfect sense. Number four in that personal brand category is, this nobody thinks about, but I always tell them, you prepare this and then go for the interview. And that is, what can you offer them? What? And don't give the normal, everyday, mundane, so hard work, loyalty, faithfulness, results, this, that. Anyone and everyone can say that. You need to tell them or give them something that would really make them think. It can be revenue, it can be cost cutting, it can be market expansion, it can be results, whatever. But remember, once again, what I told you, the content and the delivery. It's what you say and how you say. That will matter. And last but not the least, this is a question which is the simplest to ask, but the hardest to answer. Why the hell should someone give you a job when there are candidates who are better than you, more educated, more qualified, better personality, better contacts, better connections, and, overall much better than you? Why the hell should they still give you the job? Almost all, 99.99% can't answer this question. And with every customer, with every client that I work with, the answer is different. And I really have to get to the core. And finally, they explode and say, this is exactly the reason. When you find out, that's it. Then sky's the limit. But remember this, what you state 5 years ago is different 5 years later. Like when you're 20 years old, why should I employ you is different. When you're 30 years old, why should I employ you is different. When you're 50 years old, why should I employ you? So you can't say the answer that you give 20-year-old at 50-year-old, or you can't copy a 40-year-old's answer. Okay. Final thoughts that I want to give you is, number one is, you must have a strategy. Okay. Without a strategy, you're not going to achieve your goal. Shooting darts in the dark, or throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks, then it's like buying a lottery ticket. It's not going to work. Second one is, please don't say yes to a job that looks too flashy, too nice. A lot of things that you should consider. Sometimes saying no would actually give you a better deal, would actually open you to better opportunities in the market. And this in itself sounds very like, huh? Shouldn't I just grab the job that comes? No, don't do that. Always take time to think of the offer that they gave you and tell them, sir, I will think and get back to you. Because then, it shows that you're not just going to jump on anything. Yes, enthusiasm is required, but it's like you asking a girl, do you want to come for the night? And she says, yes, you feel happy. But then you lose that respect that, she's not hard to get. She's easy. In the same way, when someone offers you a job, tell them, sir, I really appreciate, I would like to go through the details and get back to you on this. Okay. Read, especially the fine print. Um, Number three is of the final thoughts. Get yourself a coach, someone who is professional, someone who's better than you, deeper in terms of wisdom, and who really genuinely has the best interest for you. Yes, people may charge a lot, but good things in life come at a price. And one final thing which I would say is every single day, you have to consider getting a job like a job, like doing a job. You have to do it every day. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be enthusiastic about it. You have to develop a routine. You have to be very, very consistent. No matter you take one step or 10 steps or whatever every single day, because it's like, putting a small rock in a bottle, you know, they give all these quotations, no, to make the water come up uh, for that crow. So in the same way, every small little coin that you put in your that piggy bank, it grows in terms of wealth. So every little effort you put into this uh, strategy of getting a job, it will help you get closer to your goal, and only then you become lucky. Remember what I told you. My client worked with me. I worked with him, sorry, for 3 years. It was not a easy task. Many times he wanted to give up, but I made sure that he stuck to you know, to the path. Anyway, I hope this video added some value to you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Love to hear from you. This is me signing off. You guys take care.